Hey everyone, welcome to the RotoGrinders Morning Grind Podcast. I'm your host, Stevietpfl. It's Friday. It is February 7th. It's 2020. We have 8 basketball games to talk about here on today's slate. I'm joined by my good buddy, Will, ChiefJustice06. How are you doing, my friend?
Doing great, man. Glad to be on with you. Definitely missed hanging out with you last week at the RG party. I definitely consider you to be, one of my best friends in the industry. And so I was a little bummed out per se, to not be able to spend some time with you. But hey, man, I'll just have to take a trip to Florida or take a trip there another time. But glad to be on. I think this is a pretty interesting little slate. We've passed the trade deadline, so no more worry about that, and we can push forward and hopefully crank out some good material for the listeners.
Yeah, trade deadline day was crazy. NBA, crazy. We're not going to get into it too much. We're here to give our first look, and it's kind of what you guys expect. The Drummond trade, absolutely insane to me. Like, Cleveland's like, all right, everybody wants to go small. We're going to go big. So, but yeah, like, I don't know. I think the Drummond trade was crazy. I think Wiggins to Golden State was kind of crazy.
That's actually my favorite trade of the day, actually. I think that's probably – I honestly think that's a great trade. I think Wiggins is going to be good for them long-term if they keep him. A guy that's not as ball dominant as D'Angelo was. I mean, can you imagine Curry, Wiggins, Clay, Draymond, Pascal, Looney? They're going to get a high draft pick. Like this trade is sneakily like a championship trade, in my opinion.
Well, like, not a huge Wiggins guy, but they gave up a little bit, but like they just took on a lot of money. That's all. Like D'Angelo Russell, what was it? 1 year? His deal was 1 year. 1 year. So like they swapped a 1 year guy into, I think Wiggins has 3 or 4 years left on his contract. And now you have, like you said, you have Curry, you have Thompson, you have Wiggins, you have Draymond, rolling into next year, plus the offseason. So, they go out and get a decent big man, and they're right back to being a team that, we're talking about a lot next year when they're healthy. So I don't hate the move by Golden State, but we can't hate on everybody for, shipping and, moving money around if we're not going to hate on Golden State, because there's a lot of that happening too. So, all right. There's not a ton of totals out. There's a ton of injuries on this slate. This is going to be a podcast where always give you guys a first look, but make sure you're paying attention to the injury news throughout the day, because there is a ton of it today. The Situation Room, Discord, all that stuff in RotoGrinders Premium. You're going to use it up today, that's for sure. We get started with Dallas at Washington. No total in this game. JJ Barea is questionable. Seth Curry is questionable. Luka is out. Porzingis is questionable. And Powell is out. On the Washington side of things, Thomas Bryant is out. Let's start here with Dallas. Obviously, everything on this game and everything on this slate is going to matter on Kristaps Porzingis. We've seen the massive amount of usage with Luka off the floor. Broke his nose the other night. Very questionable here. What are you looking at for Dallas?
Man, if he's out, we just get a plethora of options. Brunson, you'll have Finney-Smith, you'll have Hardaway, you'll have Maxey, who's going to vault into probably, I would say, one of the highest owned guys on the slate across all sites. You'll have DeLon Wright. I just think looking across the board, man, a lot of these guys will just be in play. Cauley Stein is probably going to be more in play for a very cheap price tag. I really think as of right now, even though this is a first look pod, I think a lot of the slate is going to hinge on this game because we know Porzingis has pretty much been an automatic 50 fantasy point producer with Luka off the floor, pretty close. Gets one of the premier matchups of the night. I think this game is going to basically determine the whole slate. If Porzingis is in, I think you fire him up if he's out. I think 3 to 4 Dallas guys may be in a tournament winning lineup, and that's just the reality of the situation.
Yeah, obviously, if Porzingis is out, we're gonna see all kinds of crazy stuff happen on the slate, which makes it fun. Like that's probably the thing that's kind of fun on this slate, to decide on who you want to play from Dallas. But you're probably playing like 2 or 3 of these guys in cash games if we get news that Porzingis is not going to play. If Seth Curry sits too, like there's just so many options here on the Dallas side.
Man,
that and like Wright is 4,800. He's probably, if Curry sits, if Porzingis sits, Wright's probably going to play 25 to 30 minutes in this game at 4,800. Brunson is going to play a ton of minutes in this game. If Barea sits too, like all these guys are going to get extra minutes. Finney Smith is a guy that's going to play a really solid amount of minutes here. If Porzingis sits, I like him. If Porzingis plays, I probably don't like Finney Smith as much just because of the price point. There's a ton of different ways you can go with Dallas here. We're just going to have to wait and see on Porzingis or not. And then on the other side of this game, Washington side, I think that, Thomas Bryant being out obviously makes a difference. But listen to this, Will. 40%, 36%, 33%, 47%, 36%, 38%. That's Bradley Beal's last 6 games. That's his usage in those 6 games. He's put up at least 50 fantasy points now in 7 straight games, and he's had a usage rate over 33% in each of those games. I know Bradley Beal's 10-1, but I think this is a game Washington keeps close, and I think he has a ton of upside in this matchup.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Whether Luka's in or out, I think Bradley Beal is a fine play. I don't think Shabazz Napier is going to play today. I mean, I seriously doubt it with the trade. I mean, he's hit 2 teams in a matter of hours, so I seriously doubt he's going to play. Isaiah Thomas is gone, so you got to think Ish Smith and Gary Payton may pick up some pretty substantial minutes here. This game to me is really just going to shape the slate. I think Davis Bertans is going to play solid minutes. I like him as well, especially with Brian out. I know Hachimura is back, but I still think Bertans gets 30 minutes here. This is a game where I think if you're multi-entering, I think you really carve out some time. I don't think I use the lineup builder on this one. Not this game. I think if the guys are out, or if Porzingis is out, I think you hand build a couple stacks of this game. Don't leave it up to chance and hope that your groups are going to do it. And I know that probably goes against everything, we usually do. But I think for this particular game, you try to jam in who you want and let the chips fall where they may, man. This game could be fireworks galore with all the value we have. Plus Bradley Beal being your lone stud. I think this game has tons of profit potential in cash games and tournaments.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, I have a hard time not seeing like Wagner or one of these guys play like 25 minutes in this game, and it's a good matchup against Dallas. So, like whether it be Hachimura, or Wagner, Hachimura is cheaper. So, like if you want to go that route, I have no issues with that. But like Bradley Beal's the main target here for Washington for me. I really like Bertans as well. I forgot to mention on the Dallas side, I really like Tim Hardaway Jr. in this game. Washington very bad defensively. This game is going to be really fast-paced. I think Tim Hardaway Jr. is a really strong play here as well. All right, moving on. We got Memphis at Philadelphia. Valanciunas is questionable, and that's the reason that we don't have a line in this game. And it's a back-to-back for Philly, correct? Yes. I would expect all these guys that were in part of the trade, like Justice Winslow and these guys, not to play. I don't think Josh Richardson's going to be back. He was out with a hamstring injury. I don't think Glenn Robinson and Alec Burks are going to play in this game. I could be wrong, but a lot of the trade pieces that happened, a lot of it was trade pending, and A lot of these guys ruled out for the games. Like Capella's out in Atlanta. Like we know that. So I have a hard time seeing these guys play. Let's start here with Memphis. What are we looking at on the Grizzlies?
Man, I really like to attack these Memphis games as well. I consider them to be one of the premier matchups, kind of like how we use a Washington, we use a Phoenix, we use an Atlanta. Just in this particular spot, though, with so much uncertainty, man, I almost feel like this is a pass for me. I mean, yeah, we've got Ja, we got Kyle Anderson, who's probably going to play some good minutes. Maybe he could be a pivot, offer some chalk or something like that, but overall, man, I just don't have a whole lot of interest in Memphis. I know Philly's on a back-to-back, but I just don't think this game doesn't scream fantasy goodness, to me. Just to kind of signify that, if JV's out, then maybe we get a little bit more Jaren Jackson, Brandon Clark, and then maybe I start to think about it a little bit. But as of right now, I mean, my favorite play out of this game from this team is Kyle Anderson, and that's god-awful. So that's where I'm at with Memphis. I really don't want to touch a lot of guys from Memphis or really this game.
Yeah, Anderson, a guy that has been playing pretty decent minutes here recently. And we got to think, was it Jay Crowder or somebody else? Jay Crowder and Solomon Hill got traded, if I remember correctly, from Memphis. So if Winslow and these guys that they just acquired do not play, then you have to think the minutes are going to be pretty good for Kyle Anderson. So I like that call. Yeah, I don't mind this spot for Morant. He's 6,200. He has so much upside in games that he has the usage. The usage just really hasn't been there the last few games. You can kind of see the shot attempts have been okay, but the usage just hasn't been as high. So that worries me. But I feel like my favorite play from Memphis this day is Dylan Brooks. 5,200. The price is fantastic for the upside. That he's a guy that could go for 40 or 50 fantasy points. So I don't mind Dylan Brooks in this spot, just price considering here.
Hey man, one last plug on Memphis, right? As much as I said I don't like them, you got to think Josh Jackson is going to get some run today at 3K. Would you agree with that?
Yeah.
I'm not saying I like Josh Jackson. I'd much rather play Anderson. But I mean, gosh, doesn't this feel like Jackson's going to get at least 25 minutes for the bare minimum here? Oh.
Do I agree? Kinda. I guess. Man.
Hey, he's on the list. He's on the list.
Do I want to play him? Probably not. If he ends up in the optimal, will I play him? Sure, why not? Philly, the 76ers side of things here. Embiid's cheap. I know it's a back-to-back for Embiid here, but 8,500 for Embiid, 8K for Simmons, Tobias, 6,200. It's a pace-up spot for Philly. I know it's a back-to-back, but it's hard not to like some of these pieces here.
Yeah, man. Today is a day I would seriously have Shake Milton on my radar. I don't, even at 4,600 on DK, to me, this feels like another Shake Milton explosion game. Real pace-up matchup. May get a few, may be able to kind of get some solo run. If the game, and I'm not trying to predict a blowout, but if the game is somewhat out of hand at any point, so I like him today. Obviously, I'm a Ben Simmons guy. I played him tonight. I like Ben Simmons at 8K. I'm not the biggest fan of his real-life game, but in terms of fantasy, I like what he's able to accomplish. So Embiid, Simmons, Milton, I think those would be my guys. Once again, I don't like this game a whole lot, but I think if you're looking at a couple of these cheap pieces, I think you definitely consider them, as you've mentioned, Embiid, Simmons, I think they're just a little bit too cheap for this matchup.
Just a little bit. I'm not sitting here saying they're lock plays. I'm just saying when you're looking at this matchup just on paper, the pace-up spot, you have to realistically, I think, like Embiid and Simmons at these price points. Steven Tobias, But yeah, the Shake Milton call, obviously he's, interesting here. Not a guy that, like, if you were listening to this podcast, I'm sure you didn't get on and, like, you were not going to think, like, oh, I'm going to hear about Shake Milton today. Like, I highly doubt that happens. So, yeah, like, I don't really have anything else from this one. Let's move on. We go to Atlanta at Boston. No total in this game. The injury reports here, Will. Take a nap. I'll be back in a minute. Ben Bray is out. Capella and Nene are not supposed to play. Fernando is doubtful. Reddish is doubtful. And Hunter is questionable. So Atlanta could be really, really thin here in this game. On the Boston side of things, Jaylen Brown is questionable. Gordon Hayward is questionable. Daniel Tice is out. And Kimba is questionable. So obviously this is a game we're going to be watching. This game could be a game that provides a ton of value, and this is one that we're going to be watching up until lock because of the injury news here. Let's start here with Atlanta. And I should mention, it doesn't sound like Dedmon is going to play. Even though he was traded Tuesday, it doesn't sound like Dedmon is going to play. But he's one that has a better chance to play than some of these other guys. So just kind of watch that one, because he could jump right into a 25 to 30 minute role right off the bat in this game. So, Will, what's standing out to you for Atlanta?
Man, with all these bodies down, I mean, if Trey plays, I mean, which it looks like he's probable, as we spoke of, I like him a lot. I think this could be a good spot for him. I know, these guys are on the road, but, Boston's down a few bodies as well. So he's kind of going to be my favorite play. John Collins, I don't hate him either. I don't think he'll get a lot of traction because of that price point. I'm not a fan of the price point, but I think if you're looking at this game, I think he's got some profit potential there. He may be able to squeeze out 50 fantasy points in this spot, and just namely because now the minutes have been up. When he was playing that 27, 20-minute range, 22, 25, I wasn't as interested. But, if we're going to get, 35 to 40 minutes of John Collins, I don't mind taking a stab on him here. For all of you that, play a lot on FanDuel, he's 7,500 over there. My goodness, that's a great price for this matchup. Outside of that, I don't really want to play a whole lot of guys from Atlanta. They're really thin, but I just think you stick with the main guys. I think you stick with Trey. I think you stick with Collins. You can sprinkle in some Herter. I don't hate Herter. But outside of that, just the main guys, Trey and Collins.
Yeah, I really want Dedmon to play here because, like, if he plays, this would be the one spot because, Capella, when Capella comes over, like, he's going to be a guy that is going to be playing the minutes. So Dedmon's going to get, like, one game of really solid usage or really solid minutes. If Dedmon and Capella sit, I think you take shots on Damian Jones at 3,800. He's just going to have to play some minutes here. It's going to be really interesting to see just who else is going to be in uniform for Atlanta because, even like a Jeff Teague might be very playable just because he might have to play minutes here. If Hunter plays, he's going to be a guy that has to play minutes. So, like, maybe you look at him. So a lot of pieces you could potentially look at here. And on the Boston side of things, like, they're in the same boat. Like, you click on this game on Draftkings right now, and all you see is red, either question marks or outs. The one guy we know is going to play is Tatum. He's good to go. But if all these guys sit, like, Wanamaker is a guy that's going to be really popular. I think, Grant Williams would be a guy that I'd play a ton of, which I don't think a lot of people want to play Grant Williams. So,
and I played him the other night. I was very excited.
So
I had him at 1%. I got him at 1% the other night too. He won't be 1% tomorrow. You're not going to get him at
1% tonight.
No, not today. Guaranteed, not today.
All right, Will, what are we looking at when it comes to Boston?
Yeah, man. Listen, and here's the deal. if people are going to pile up on Grant Williams today at 3,800, which I'm sure they are, I'm going to consider him good chalk today if he happens to be chalky in this matchup with Atlanta. But I still like Enes Kanter here, man, at 4,400. Tons of meat on the bone here at that price. Obviously we're going to like Tatum. We know Smart is going to play, so I don't mind Smart either. I think everything just kind of hinges on Kemba and Brown and Hayward, and let's see what happens. But this is another game where I think you can just kind of sprinkle in some pieces, get you a nice little game stat. To me, this feels like a game stack slate, man. So many options. But that's where I'm at with this game. I think Kanter and Williams are two of my favorites. To kind of pair with some of the other guys, and then Marcus Smart. I think that's kind of my order. And then it would be Tatum for me, which I know Tatum's the alpha dog, but just in terms of the pricing, man, I just think Kanter and Williams they really stand out as good values here in this spot at home.
All right. Yeah, man. Like, I know Kanter kind of busted the other night in 26 minutes, but
that's good minutes, though.
Yeah, like the minutes are what we wanted to see. Like Daniel Tice, the matchup against Orlando, much different than a matchup against Atlanta, for what it's worth. So, all right, Detroit at OKC, 218.5 total here. Thunder favored by 12 in this game. Blake Griffin, Kennard, Morris, Sivy, Rose, all out for Detroit. I was reading something along the lines of Henson and Knight probably won't be available either. So Detroit is and they waived Tim Frazier on Thursday. So Detroit's going to be without a lot of bodies here. Let's start with the Pistons. Reggie Jackson, Christian Wood. These guys are great plays for me. And like Langston Galloway, like he's probably too cheap here. A lot of different ways to attack Detroit, and I don't think there's a bad way to attack them.
Yeah, man. Reggie Jackson, I'm looking at my FanDuel stuff right now. He's 5,700. Christian Wood, got the big price up at 7,300 on that site. Thon Maker, listen, he's going to play minutes, 4,200. Don't hate that as well. You hop on over to DK, and so you're looking Wood is 6K, Thon Maker is 3K. Man, this is going to be interesting. 3K Thon Maker in a spot where he's going to have to play. I like it. I like it a lot, actually. You'll have Bruce Brown, you'll have Jackson. I know Jackson put up 50, but, man, there's just such a big pricing discrepancy between Bruce Brown and Reggie Jackson. I figured Bruce Brown would have come in at least around 55, 5,600. Being able to get him at 4,900 in the spot, I like it a lot. He's playing big minutes. So these are guys you can look at. I don't feel as good about the Detroit value as I do some of the others. Just because I really want to figure out how all of this is going to work. But, I still think this is a good spot. Christian Wood, man, it would be nice to get a 40, 50-point game out of him. But they really priced him up. You're going to have to think about it if you want to play him.
Yeah, and I think that I have zero issues playing him. I think he's going to have a ton of I think he has a ton of upside in this matchup. So, if you want to play Christian Wood here, I know he's expensive, but like he's been a guy when he gets the minutes, he's a guy that can easily crush. So I have no issues paying the price point for him. And I just kind of hope that, he gets the minutes that we're hoping for more than anything else, because, that's going to be the big tail here, whether or not, he gets the minutes with Drummond gone, because we've had times this season where like we thought he was going to get the minutes and he didn't. So, going to have to kind of see how it plays out. But, I think that, Thon Maker obviously going to have to play minutes here. Just kind of like, Galloway, Dubois, these guys are going to have to play minutes in this game. So, like, taking a shot on any of these guys, I have no issues really taking a shot on any of these guys. So, It's just like, oh, this slate is already shaping up to be one of those interesting ones for sure.
Yeah, it's value galore. I mean, listen. Oh man, in the words of our good friend Mr. Blender, I mean, it's play whoever you want. It's going to be crazy out there in these streets.
Play whoever you want today, indeed. You could play pretty much anybody you're going to want to play too, because everybody's going to be available to play. That's what's funny because of all the value that we have. So, OKC, like the Thunder should control this game. They should have no issues with Detroit in this game. These guys are kind of priced up, and I don't know necessarily if I feel comfortable playing a ton of these guys.
Yeah. I don't think you can do it. I mean, if this game stays close, does that mean a lot of these guys are going to get there? Absolutely. I think the prices are fair. So like Chris Paul at 7,100, I think that's fair. SGA, I think it's fair. Bottom line is, most of this team is priced appropriately. Gallinari didn't leave, so he's still there. I feel like you maybe should have some interest. Steven Adams played 30 minutes against Cleveland. If his minutes are back up at 5,100, I really like it. But do you really need a $5,100 Steven Adams today? You probably don't. That's an exceptional price for him. So in tournaments, he's probably going to be a good play. Just overall, this team just on paper and in terms of salary just doesn't get me excited. However, I feel like I need to have a little bit of interest just because if we like some of these Detroit guys, you may want to sprinkle in a Chris Paul, sprinkle in a SGA, just in case the game stays really close.
Just in case. Yeah. All right. Moving on. We got Toronto at Indiana taking on the Pacers. 219 total here. This game's a pick'em. Marc Gasol is out. Powell is out. On the Pacers side, Oladipo is questionable. And Warren is getting really close as far as the concussion. So we're going to put him as questionable as well. But there's a better chance that he plays than recently. So let's start here with Toronto. When you're looking at pricing on this slate, pricing matters on every slate. But obviously when you have a ton of value, as much as we have on like a slate like today, you could play a little bit different, obviously. So what are you looking at here for Toronto?
Yeah, ironically, I'm not as interested in the Toronto guys on FanDuel. I think the guy I have the most interest in maybe would be a Terrence Davis, just because he's got some upside, and I don't think he's going to get any ownership today. I don't mind the price on Lowry at 7,400. I think it's fair. On DK, though, I think, you get a guy like Pascal Siakam at 7,500. I mean, this just screams play Pascal Siakam here. This is one of those home away from home games. I'm not saying it's going to be like the other night where they have to storm back and win, and so all these guys get to play 40 minutes. But I just think the price on him at 7,500 is just incredible. I think he should be a staple of cash games and tournaments in terms of the pricing. I'm not sure where he's going to come in because of all the other value, but he's a guy I really have my eye on DK. And then Terrence Davis again on DK as well at 3,700. I think those are some of my favorites. I don't mind Lowry at 7,300, but I kind of have him in the same group as Chris Paul, SGA, fairly priced, not necessary. But Pascal Siakam at 7,500, man, I just think this is a phenomenal price. Even with all the value, I think he's a guy you definitely want to get in your lineups, even in this spot against Indiana.
Yeah, you'll be able to get him in there with no issues whatsoever. I'm glad Kyle Lowry's price has come up a little bit here. He's just been a guy that I've been playing and just taking the floor. I know he kind of stunk against Detroit the other night, but he put up a big game against the Pacers, 62 fantasy points 2 days ago. Was it Wednesday? So I don't mind Lowry. I don't mind Van Vliet. I don't mind Siakam. They're not core plays for me today. Serge Ibaka, obviously, he's going to have to play minutes in this game. Played 34 minutes against the Pacers Wednesday. He's going to play minutes again in this game. It's $6,300 price tag. I think he's definitely playable at that price point. Outside of that, you could take a tournament shot on Terrence Davis. He's 3,700. He's going to be low owned because of all the other value plays on this slate. He's going to play minutes with Norman Powell out. So Terrence Davis getting 25 to 28 minutes at 3,700. If he shoots the ball well, he's a guy that's going to put up his shots. He puts up plenty of shots. So, when you're looking at this slate and you're looking at all the value on this slate, a guy like Terrence Davis could be just one of those guys that's really low owned and nobody's playing him. So just wanted to throw his name out there. Will, the Pacer side of things, Sabonis, always a guy that can crush in any matchup. He's 9K here, put up 46 fantasy points a couple days ago. What do you like here for the Pacers?
Man, to be honest with you, man, I'm trying to get myself geared up for MLB. I know it's coming, man. I'm so excited. I'm not playing anybody from the Pacers today. 0 bodies.
He's like, I'm out.
All right,
I still think I think Brogdon's too cheap again. Like I talked about him on Wednesday. I thought he was too cheap on Wednesday. I think Brogdon's too cheap again. I think you could definitely take a shot on Brogdon. But outside of that, if Warren comes back, that's going to hurt the value of some of these guys that have been playing extra minutes. I wouldn't play like Justin Holiday or any of these guys. I know Holiday just had a big game in this matchup, but I wouldn't go there. All right, Houston at Phoenix. Houston on a back-to-back. We'll have to kind of see how this plays out. I know Westbrook is sat. He's already been ruled out. Playing Thursday, resting Friday, Westbrook. So, assuming that, Covington, he's supposed to come off the bench. That game is playing as we're recording, so I haven't even checked.
I will be watching.
I haven't even checked to see if let's see, Rockets. Covington has played 8 minutes off the bench. So yeah, you have to kind of expect him to play, the second half of the back-to-back. And let's talk Houston here. No Westbrook.
No Capella.
No, Capella's gone. What do you like here for Houston?
Look, man, it's just play James Harden today. I don't, if he gets 45 fantasy points, great. We can probably still win with that. There's just no reason at all to fade James Harden today on any site. I think, Stevie, I think you're going to agree with me on that. I think most people in the industry will agree, unless you're just trying to be contrarian. And listen, some people are going to do it. I get it. I just don't think you fade James Harden today. I don't care that he's 12-1. I'll just play a 3K guy and get my average salary right back up. No reason to fade Harden today. I honestly, I think today is a day I may go balls to the wall here, and I'm just going to have to, enter my 100, 150 lineups and just lock Harden in 100% and let the chips fall where they may and just build around him. I just don't think there's a reason to fade him at all. I think you'll be able to, play Austin Rivers. You'll be able to play probably a little bit of Covington. You'll be able to play P.J. Tucker in a revenge game, who's still – and by the way, they've moved P.J. Tucker to center on FanDuel for $4,500. I mean, listen, I may get slight exposure to him there at that spot just in case. But listen, this is just a phenomenal spot. Play James Harden, fill in around him, and let it ride.
Oh, never thought the day that we would use a center spot for PJ Tucker.
Hey, listen, I may take a picture of this because this I mean, well, it's going to come back around because they've got him at center for the season, but this is just interesting.
No, I know. I'm just saying, I never thought there'd be a day that I'd actually want to play him at center. And it feels like this is a spot you could, definitely take a shot on PJ Tucker on FanDuel, just because I do think that he's in play here. It's just again, it's just not something that I didn't think that I would be talking about PJ Tucker.
I will say this, Stevie, on FanDuel, don't cheat yourself. You may want to play Harden and Beal. depending on the circumstance. That's all. That's all I'm going to say.
No, I agree with that for sure. Hey, running it back here on the Phoenix side, because I do agree with you on Harden. I think he is a phenomenal play. I think Covington is very much in play as well. You have to think Covington's going to play really solid minutes in this, second game here. Maybe if he sits, man, you can just attack Houston. Like, are they going to be careful with Covington because they just traded for him? Like, we'll have to kind of see how that plays out. But if for some reason he does sit, like, it opens up everything. Let's talk the Phoenix side of things here. Ayton is going to he's just going to eat in this game. Ayton is like my favorite play on this slate. There's no question that he is going to eat in this game. There's just nobody to defend him in this one, and it's hard not to. You talked about locking in Harden, and I'm perfectly fine with that. But like, there is a good chance that Ayton is on every team that I built on this slate.
Yeah, I get it, man, and that's another reason I wanted to watch this Lakers game tonight. I really wanted to see how Houston was going to combat, a true center inside. And so, once we wrap up the pod, I'm not rushing or anything, but I will be looking into that. But yeah, Ayton, I think he's going to be a phenomenal play. I actually really like the price on Devin Booker here because of some recent performances. The price is coming down to 7,900 on DK. On FanDuel, he's still at 8,200. Different sites, I get it. I probably won't play him as much on FanDuel, but on DK, I do really like that price. Ricky Rubio is still really cheap. Fantasy production hasn't really been there. But, you got to think this guy is going to start cranking out 30 to 40-point fantasy games a little bit more consistently, or at least I hope. But I think that's about it for me, man. I know that Bridges is going to play some minutes, but I don't feel like Bridges is a necessity for this slate. So he's a guy I'm probably going to leave out. Kelly Oubre, last guy I want to talk about. He's a guy that I very seldom get right. But for 6,700 in a spot where, they're going to have to play if they want to win, I don't hate sprinkling him in as well.
I will say I like Bridges more than you. I forgot to read off the injury report here. Baines is out. Cam Johnson is doubtful. Tyler Johnson, Kaminsky, and Sarge are all still out. So when you're looking at the injury report in general here, like, Bridges is going to have to play minutes here at 4,900. So I have a little bit more interest. Not like, again, I'm not saying like he's a core play for me, but like if I'm in that price range and I end up on him, I'm not going to hate it. So I just want to say, like, I don't mind the spot for Bridges. Outside of that, though, like, I don't see myself playing like Okubo or any of these other guys. So on that note, we're going to move on. Miami at Sacramento, no total in this game. Jimmy Butler is doubtful. Hero is out, and Myers Leonard is still out. Bagley's out on Sacramento, and Holmes is questionable. Again, like Miami, I don't expect some of these guys who were traded to be there, but like if Jay Crowder were to play in this game, I would expect him to play really solid minutes. Right, joining the new team and playing solid minutes. Jimmy Butler being doubtful really opens up things for like a Kendrick Nunn. I talked about Derek Jones Jr. the other night. He had a really strong game against the Clippers. I think Miami is definitely a team that you're going to be wanting to pay attention to in this spot.
Yeah, for sure. I think Nunn is squarely in play. 4,800 on DK. I think he's 46 on FanDuel. That's great pricing. I just think, I think you'll need to consider him. Definitely, he definitely needs to be a part of your player pool at that price. Duncan Robinson is going to play big minutes. Bam Adebayo is going to play big minutes. I really like Bam today. I do want to see where the ownership may get. He's a guy I trust here in this spot. I think he could have a big game as well, as long as it can, be continuously competitive. And then, you talk about Derek Jones Jr. He's going to play 30-plus minutes as well. So, this is another team where, you just kind of get sprinkles of guys, and kind of move on from there. On this slate right now, man, with how my mind is kind of working, I think I'm going to pick 2 or 3 studs that I like and go heavy on those guys. Take and then load up on a bunch of the value plays and try to go overweight on a couple guys and see if we can get this thing right. But Miami, man, Jones Jr., Nunn, Bam, those guys are probably going to be my favorites, and then behind them will definitely be Duncan Robinson. I know Dragic is playing. I like Dragic as well, but I don't think he's going to be a priority. He's going to be more of a secondary play for me.
I think Goran Dragic is definitely a guy that, like, if Crowder and these guys don't play and Butler misses, I think you could definitely play Goran Dragic here. But he's going to really depend on, like, how the injury news and how the news, as far as these guys joining the team. Like, he's going to be a guy that I'm watching that news more than, like, Kendrick Nunn. Nunn's very much in play here. If we get news that Butler's out, Nunn played 35 minutes the other night. He's going to play really strong minutes. Should be considered, one of the top value plays on this slate. Sacramento side of things, like, Fox is 7,800. This is a game that's going to be pretty slow paced. I wish he was a little bit cheaper. I know he's been over 8K here recently. If Butler sits, I don't mind taking a shot on Fox a little bit more, but, like, again, like, there's so many plays that I like in other games. I just don't love the spot for him. Yeah, Will is a rookie and muted his mic, and there he is.
How did I do that? Man, gosh, I haven't done that in such a long time. Sorry, folks, but yeah, I was just basically saying I'm with you. I agree. I don't think I'm going to be as interested in a lot of these Sacramento guys. But once again, man, if it's game stack central, I think you take a handful of teams, you just try to stack this game one or two ways, three ways, and move on from there.
Yep. All right. Well, last one, we got Portland at Utah. Portland's on a back-to-back. We'll have to kind of see how Utah fares here. Portland is playing as we're recording, so we don't know how that's going to kind of play out, if there's anybody that's going to sit or anything like that. Is there anybody that's standing out to you matchup-wise here for Portland?
Not really. They're playing Utah. It's actually not as bad of a matchup as people think it is. But, I think you could possibly X this game off. I like Whiteside. The price on Whiteside is fantastic at 7,700. So he's definitely a guy I think you consider. He may not even get much traction today. But I don't think I'm going to need a whole bunch of Dame. I don't think I'm going to need a whole bunch of McCollum. Whiteside, however, at 7,700, though, it's probably going to be at the top of my list on this team, and that's about it.
Yeah. I think Lillard's, a guy that, like I talked about a lot on the podcast yesterday, I don't mind playing Lillard in any matchup. His price at 9,900 obviously is expensive. He put up 79 fantasy points against Utah less than a week ago. The upside for him in any matchup is really high. I don't mind, Trevor Ariza. I talked about him yesterday as well. He's just going to be a guy that he's going to play solid minutes most nights. So I don't have an issue with Trevor Ariza, but we have a ton of value today. So I probably don't end up on him as much as I normally would. But yeah, I talked about my boy Swagman. I know, I think he only played like 6 first half minutes. So probably won't end up going there. They gave Trevor Ariza a ton of minutes in the first half. So they played their starters a ton of minutes just in general in the first half of the Spurs game on Thursday. So we'll kind of have to see how this plays out.
I played some Ariza, so I hope he's at least up to 12 to 15 fantasy points by now. Don't tell me, though. Well, I'll check after we're our task.
Yeah, there's nothing else really standing out to me on the Portland side. What's standing out to you for Utah?
Mike Conley seems to be back, but that price is up there now at 5,400. I know he's cranked out, 34 and 40-point games the past 2 games. I think I'm going to have to hop off now, and that's just me, just because I think the price is getting a little closer to where it's going to normalize. So, I think that's kind of where I'm at there. Donovan Mitchell at 6,900. Don't hate it. Hasn't been the same since Conley's come back. Engel, same thing. Hasn't really been the same, playing big minutes, but not giving us the production. And then we get Gobert at 7,700. I feel the same way about Gobert that I do about Whiteside. I think these guys are slightly underpriced, and I think you get your exposure to them that way. Fair price on Conley. Don't hate it, but I don't love it. And then, you got Jordan Clarkson at 4,500. His minutes in the low 20s, so he would really have to be shooting the ball really well to get you where you need to be, and I just think he's not a necessity today. Favorite play on this team, Rudy Gobert at 7,700.
Yeah, I like the Rudy Gobert call. Like you mentioned with Mike Conley, obviously he's been playing really strong minutes. Do you have FanDuel pricing up still?
Yeah, sure.
I was just curious if they raised his price over there too.
Yeah, they got him at 52, so close.
Yeah,
close.
So. All right, let's play the morning grind game, and then we're gonna get out of here. Favorite play under 5K to 7X. Will, who do you got?
Everybody. I'm just kidding.
Sums it
Favorite
up.
play under 5K to 7X. I want to give the people something good. I want to stick with the guy here that I think I really like in this spot. I'm going to go with Grant Williams at 3,800. I don't think he'll get the ownership. He's definitely not going to play as many minutes as some of the other value guys will get. But I still like him here. 3,800. Let's go with Grant Williams.
All right. I like that call. I was trying to – I'm going to go with Langston Galloway.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm trying not to give them the obvious ones today. I mean, everybody's going to play these Dallas guys if Porzingis is out. So I'm going to try to get some guys that maybe won't be talked up as much in the industry for this one.
Listen, everybody's going to play the Detroit guys too. Let's be realistic. So,
yeah.
Over 8K to go under 5X. Who's your bust today?
Give me. Man, I actually think I'm going to go with Lillard here. I think I'm going with Dame on this one.
Yeah, I can understand that. I don't want to take any of these guys. I think he gets over 50. But I'm just going to, he's probably my least favorite in this group is Trae Young. But I do think he gets over 50. Will, give me your favorite 6X play.
Yeah, man. Favorite 6X play. I'm kind of going close to the top of the food chain today. This is a guy I really like. I think in this spot, I'm honestly, watch this. I'm going Bradley Beal, man. I think Bradley's going for 60 today. I really do.
I thought you were going to take my guy, so that's fine. I thought you were going to take DeAndre Ayton. I'm telling you guys, I love Ayton today. Really, 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 really like this spot for him. So he's my 6X play. Will, give me your Let's Get Weird GPP play today.
Good. There's a lot. I think I'm going to go with the guy that maybe doesn't get the traction because of all the other value plays we have. I'm actually going to go with Brandon Clark from Memphis at 4,900. I know that seems really weird, but if JV happens to be out, I think this play could pay off tremendous dividends. We've seen this guy go for 30 to 40 fantasy points. 4,900 Brandon Clark with no JV, with kind of a depleted team, which he's going to play anyway. And I don't think anybody's on Brandon Clark today from Memphis. Brandon Clark.
Yeah, I don't think a lot of people will be playing today either. So I like that call. My Let's Get Weird play today. I'm going to this for the second time in a week. I'm going to say Terrence Davis. Oh
yeah.
I don't think a lot of people.
Steve, you get me excited.
I don't think a lot of people will play Terrence Davis today. And I see a road for him like being a better value play than some of these other guys. So I'm gonna roll the dice. Why not? Will, game selection question. What's standing out to you here? Tournament cash games does not matter. What are you looking at?
Man, listen, my favorite always. I do have a favorite. My favorite on FanDuel is always this $100 single entry. So I'm going to do that for the semi-high stakes guys. It's just kind of one of my favorite ones. They're paying out 23% of the field. First place is 15% of the prize pool tomorrow, which I think is outstanding. So I like that. And then my next favorite in terms of what we've got going on right now, man, I'm about to sound like a company man, and I'm definitely drinking the Kool-Aid. Guys, please get in this $3 single entry series. $3, 35K prize pool. First place only 8.57%, 3K to first. When we do these single entry series, the prize pools are a lot bigger. Get in there, guys. This is probably one of the best tournaments on the slate tomorrow. And man, you put up a good score multiple times throughout the week. You could be looking at a first place finish and your ticket into the championship. Once again, please, $3. Get in that single entry series tournament, man, on FanDuel.
Yeah, I'm going to go the $12 pick and roll over there on DraftKings. 3,900 people, pays out 21.5%. Min cash is over 2x. Top 10 is under 30%. Somebody's going to take $12 and turn it into $4,000. It's a great tournament, for anyone that's hitting that like really strong teams and, wanting a single entry tournament. So it's a tougher tournament with almost 4,000 players in it. But, I think this is a tournament that mid stakes, high stakes, low stakes, like any kind of stakes can play this one. And I feel comfortable with this one. So make sure you're checking that out. Will, we don't have a lot of over-unders today. I will for sure tweet out my sharp side lock. We'll have to see if I can keep it going. I took the over in that Portland game, like I talked about. It does not look promising right now to get there, so I might have to start a new streak on Friday. So make sure you're looking out for that. I'll tweet that out, sometime during the day here on Friday. And, we'll kind of try to keep our lock bets rolling here on the Sharp Side app. Will, any final thoughts before we get out of here?
Hey, man, we got a little bit of XFL this weekend. Football has not left our lives. Prize pools are live. They're out there. Let's hop in and have some fun. Don't mortgage your house or anything, but, let's have some fun and support this thing so we can keep these prize pools up.
Yeah, don't listen to anything Will just said. NASCAR starts this weekend. Play all the NASCAR. Don't play any XFL. No, I'm just kidding.
Hey, listen. We need to be on the NASCAR team. I will plug it for you. Guys, please get Stevie's package. He is not paying me to do this. If you like pennies, nickels, dimes, quarters, dollars, you need to get the package. Hopefully I didn't break any rules by plugging this stuff. He's got a $9.99 weekly package right now for this week. $249, or is it the $240? No, is it $299 or $249 early bird? See, I'm messing up the plug here. Get the early bird special so that you can be ready for Daytona. Let's go.
Yeah, it's $299. You're gonna get 38 races, whatever 38 times 13 is. Off the top of my head, it's a really nice savings. So yeah, if you want the early bird special. Discord chat is up, so anybody that has the NASCAR Premium, you can head on over to Discord, check out. I posted some stats in there earlier today, so check that out. We're moving to Discord for the chat this season. I'm excited about that because I'm at the track a lot, and having the Discord app is going to be easier for me to communicate with people. So yes. Liking that. That's going to wrap it up here, though, for Thursday. We'll be back talking some more hoops on Monday. I hope everyone has an awesome weekend. See you guys in the NASCAR package Saturday for the live show. He's Will. I'm Stevie. Good luck, and we'll see you then.